Hi, I'm Phyllis Solomon from JCA Interages, and this is our Interages interview program. And I'd like to just introduce Marina, who will interview Annie, who is an art therapist, and she does a lot of work with our Kensington Club, and I'm very excited about this. So go ahead, Marina.
Hi, everyone. So, once again, my name is Marina. I'm 17 and I'm a junior at Urbana High School. And I have the pleasure of interviewing Annie, who is JCA's art therapist. Hi, Annie. Thank you for doing this.
Hi, no problem.
So, my first question would be for our viewers who aren't familiar with art therapy, how would you describe it to someone who has no idea what it is?
Sometimes it's easier to describe what art therapy is by saying what it's not. So it's not art instruction or art class. It's not just coloring. It's most closely aligned with traditional talk therapy, but we use art as a tool to address the different challenges that a person might be dealing with. Now that takes a lot of different forms. There's a big spectrum between art as therapy, using the art in itself as the therapeutic process, and art psychotherapy, which is much more like talk therapy, working through challenges, and the art is a piece of it. There's a whole range in between there.
What are some of the factors that led you to pursue specifically art therapy?
I went to school at Virginia Tech, and I was a psychology major who would go home and paint, and kind of never really took that many art classes, but was self-taught, loved it so much. And honestly, I had no idea what I was going to do with my psychology degree. I was talking to my guidance counselor at school one day during an event, and they kind of asked, like, what would be the biggest difference that you could make in your life right now? And for me, I just said, I need to figure out what I'm going to do after I finish school. I don't know where I'm going to go with this. And she said, well, you could be an art therapist. And I had never even heard of it before that moment. And like the moment she said it, I was like, yep, that's for me.
What are some of the activities that you decide to do for each of the sessions with JCA, more specifically for elderly people with early stage memory loss? And what are some of the goals that come with each of those activities?
I kind of think about my goals first and plan my projects and my sessions from there. And my biggest goal when I'm working with seniors is to reinforce their self-esteem and self-efficacy. Besides the feeling of self-esteem, like I'm great, this is great, I'm proud of myself. Self-efficacy is I can do this. So I plan all my projects around the idea of what can everyone in the group be successful at. So we do a lot of watercolor painting, which is very like light and loose, because I usually make a more abstract type project with it. Or I just come in and say, we're doing watercolor painting today. You can paint anything you want. I like to give that kind of flexibility so that people feel like they don't have to do it exactly right.
For your long-term clients, I understand that you work with a lot of seniors and you've seen them over years. I was wondering if you had any examples of striking cognitive or social improvements that you've seen that you think came from continued art therapy sessions with you?
That's a hard question because Alzheimer's and dementia is a degenerative disease, meaning it gets worse over time. But as far as improvements, what I see more often is improvements in that main goal that I have, in their self-esteem and self-efficacy. I see a lot more willingness to try new things. Aside from that, I do think that I've seen a lot of like relationship building within the groups. One thing I always try and do if there's enough time is spend the last couple minutes of the session allowing people to show what they've made. And I try and at least always say something positive about it.
Are there any misconceptions that you would like to debunk that are harmful to the art therapy community?
Sure. When something is called art therapy, it really is supposed to mean that it is created and produced by a registered art therapist. So the challenge there is that not every state has equal titling and protection. Maryland is great because Maryland also has licensure for art therapists. which gives us that title protection. So you can't call yourself an art therapist if you're not a licensed art therapist. The other thing that licensure allows you to do is charge insurance, which means we open up our services to more people who maybe aren't able to pay on their own. After that, I really love kind of debunking that idea that red means angry, or black means sad or fear or whatever. Art is just a tool for communication. It's one of the many ways that we get to know you. And so it might give us clues about things to talk about, but I'm always going to ask you, because that's more meaningful and more true than any guesses that I might make based on looking at your art.
That's my last question for you, which is also kind of a loaded question, but what do you find most rewarding about your field of work?
I love it all because art is such a nice way in for people to addressing what could otherwise be really difficult topics. I love working with seniors. I always have. There's so much going on behind the scenes that, like, when you do the work for a long time, sometimes you just get used to it. You forget a little bit about everything that goes into it. And they remind you. They say, oh, I loved this thing that you did. And I was like, yeah, I did plan that specifically.
Yeah, thank you so much once again. So those are all my questions. I really hope that the viewers learned a lot more about art therapy and all its amazing benefits. So yeah, thank you so much, Annie, for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.